So this is a toolkit I'm building up for the Mustang to keep with the car. And most of it's pretty generic, but there are a few special considerations for the car. Because I did use ARP 12-point fasteners, which I probably won't ever do again, I have to use 12-point fasten sockets. And I wanted to use the mid-length with this because obviously it's a split between a shallow and a deep, and it just works really well with the car. But Snap-on's the only brand that makes a 12-point mid-length socket. So there's some money there. The other consideration is with plumbing and building the car, I went to all AN fittings for everything. Right now most of it's dash 6, but the fuel will eventually jump up to dash 8 and 10. And so when that has scales up, I'll adjust the wrenches from there. But even then, the power steering will always be dash 6, so it's 11/16. This is that's the handiest wrench as far as that area of the car. And I have some others in here. Some 15/16 for the suspension, tie rod end adjustments, and strut rod adjustments, and all of the Heim joints use those. And then from there, back on the 12-point deal, because you can't use normal wrenches on a 12-point fastener. That's driving the indexing ratchet decision there. And I think Harbor Freight makes one, but this one's not that. The car is all the wiring I've done has been through Deutsch connectors, so that drives this tool, the pin removal tool, and then bringing some pins along with the car. All of the original factory wiring is still there, but all it's doing is controlling the lights of the car. So I have some butt connectors there to splice in. The way I do it, I don't like the insulated. I like to do bare, and then I just heat shrink over it. I don't like seeing the blue and yellow and red all over my car. It's just cleaner to do it this way. I do that with everything. Brake line, flare, crow's foot, and then the hydraulic line, crow's foot. This is mostly for the power steering pump. The other thing, what else is special in this? Okay, so this is my diagnostic cable for the car, because it's Deutsch connector. So you can do quite a bit with that, with this, in terms of male or female, doing diagnostics and rewiring the car if you have to with it. And then that will splice into this Raspberry Pi Pico, which I built to be an oscilloscope with the phone or laptop, and can also do voltage. So that's my multimeter, instead of bringing a fluke along, or even the little baby Harbor Freight deals that I like to modify with load testers in them. But then just torch for soldering and heat shrink. Electrical tape always seems to take up a lot of space. And then this wire stripper, I have a vessel on the way. I found that does a 12 gauge to 24 gauge, which I like because that's the wiring of the car. There is some 10 gauge in the car, but you can make do with it. Once you get to that, you can get there with a knife, or you can get there with a 12 gauge and just be careful with it, or whatever you're going to do. Yeah, so as I go through the car again and find more tools that I can't make do with this, I'll add it to this collection. And then the goal is just like, this is something to be in the car, drive across the country, be able to fix the car, keep on going. Cotter pins are for the throttle linkage. Could use for the steering, but it's for the throttle linkage. And then I like to just do this with a paper clip. I just file it down to a tip, and that becomes a terminal tool, and it's really handy. So there's that. Oh, thought of a few more things. So I broke out the pins, and I'll put all these in a plastic bag and over here, and off we go. Added hydraulic fittings for the car. There's a lot of redundancies built into the car. For example, the main power steering line can be interchanged with the return hose. The return hose is built for pressure, and that's because it's all custom plumbing on the car, and I won't be able to find that hose anywhere. So it'll save me downtime waiting for, parts to come in, or whatever. Even just having to wait for or find a shop to build me a custom hose, I can do that on the side of the road if I just keep an extra length of PTFE hose on the car. And if I'm in the middle of nowhere, I can just patch the broken pressure line, and then get to the next stop that way. But I keep an additional, like, say 6-foot length of hose on the car, just stashed in the wheel well, the rear wheel, so I can build new hoses if I need to, and then extra olives and all that stuff. The other thing is that I forgot in the other video, the car has a PDM, so I don't technically really need like the multimeter and the oscilloscope because the car's handling that. And in a light system, I mean, it's a 12-volt simple light system, you know, so that technically I don't need. But in case, you know, there's an issue there, this is a really lightweight setup to have an additional level of diagnostic. But yeah, I completely forgot. I put a PDM in the car, and that can tell me everything I need to know. And then the last thing with this is just trying to keep it light. I think that comes from the motorcycles, but also the whole point of the car is it's a really lightweight car. If this is light, I'll keep it in the car. If it's in the car, it's actually useful to me. The second it leaves the car, it's absolutely useless to me. So those are the last couple things. I'm sure I'll think of some more. But yeah, all right, talk to you later.